Okay, guys, so I already know the winter's halfway over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But better late than never.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
So you guys are about to get my 2019 top 10 winter list. Let's go. What's going on, YouTube? I'm that cologne guy E, and this is Simply Put Scents. It's getting cold in New York. It's kind of doing some schizo shit. 1 minute it's cold, 1 minute it's not. It is what it is, but it's winter, right? And this is my favorite time of the year because it's the time of the year where I get to wear like my strongest, most boldest fragrances. And you know, I need something that's gonna withstand all that bundling up where like a fragrance ends up on my scarf or like the collar of my coat. And when you add on top of that, the freezing cold, yeah, I need some stuff that'll like withstand all that. So the fragrances on this list will have some strength. You know what I mean? Let's knock that out. From the house of Rasasi, Daarej. Now Daarej is an oldie but goodie on this channel. Every now and then it rears its head in a video, and it's simply because it's a dope cheapie, guys. It's just a really, really good cheapie. And it really works in cold weather. It closely mirrors a discontinued Valentino scent called Valentino B that is selling for really high-end prices on eBay. And this fragrance, Daarej, will shock you how close it smells like that fragrance. And the fact that you can get it for such a low price, that's really cool. It's a sweet, syrupy vanilla / Tonka bomb with a lot of background noise in the form of spices and patchouli. It's not higher up on this list because it's a little bit screechy. It's not the most smooth fragrance in the world, but it's a worthy option for cold days or evenings in non-professional settings. In 3 words, I would describe this fragrance as inexpensive hidden gem. Number 10. Prada Intense. This is for you guys out there who want one fragrance for the entire cold season. You aren't really into collecting or into all the options. You're just looking for that one scent that you can wear for almost any reason, whether it's work, the club, or wherever. And I feel like this fragrance will do a great job for you if that's what you're looking for. It's pretty much a dark freshie with a clean iris mixed with dirtier notes like patchouli and suede. Yeah. Pretty much. I would describe this fragrance as fresh, dirty, floral. From the house of Bvlgari, Man Black-Arabian Oud. To me, guys, this is the best version of Man in Black Bvlgari has made. It's a boozy cardamom, leather, and oud scent. And there are some florals and tuberose and rose, but it's mostly a background noise. This is the darkest flanker in the Man in Black line with a more Western oud option, which is to say it's a synthetic sweet oud accord. It's a huge improvement on a likable scent. I'm a fan, and I really like the way it no longer resembles Spicebomb. Like the original version smells a lot like it, but this version separates itself from that Spicebomb DNA. It's a lot more distinctive, and yeah, I would describe it as wearable, boozy oud. Speaking of Valentino, from the house of Valentino, Uomo Absolu, and Donna Noir Absolu. That's right, guys. Both fragrances will be tied for this spot. I'm a huge fan of both, and they are made to be layered. When worn alone or in tandem, it really doesn't matter to me. These 2 fragrances are killing my skin. Period.
I'm not listening to you. You're crazy.
Donna was made for women, but most women skipped it because they thought it was too masculine. And now it's discontinued due to lack of interest from women or men.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You know, marketing errors, guys, can destroy a fragrance. But regardless, both fragrances, Donna and Uomo Noir Absolu, are amazing releases. Donna was discontinued, but you can still find it around, and it isn't that pretty, even though it's marketed to women. It's not like a typical teenage girl type of scent. It's pretty much Uomo with a hyped up boozy plum note and a calm but present spicy expression. Uomo is a lot more in your face with the spice, and weirdly enough, it still has that mellow but noticeable lipstick thing going on.
Lipstick for men.
Which is a part of the Valentino Uomo DNA. In Donna, there's no lipstick smell, but it's a lot boozier with a lot of that dark plum as I mentioned before. I would describe Uomo as spicy, bold, masculine, and I would describe Donna as smooth, boozy, plum. Gucci Intense Oud. This is the type of fragrance you wear in the evenings when you're stunting in your grown man clothes. When it's like real cold, I wear this in the day with ease. It doesn't need to be dressed up though, but I really wouldn't wear this with a t-shirt either. I think it really shines when you step up your look when you wear this fragrance. Intense Oud by Gucci is probably Gucci's top 3 fragrance over the last decade. It's like a designer, more mainstream Nasamato's Black Afghano, to be honest. It's not as complex or nearly as expensive as Black Afghano, and it's not nearly as dense, but it's a very well done alternative by a designer brand that almost got left behind before roaring back into relevancy with this release. I would describe this fragrance as Gucci's comeback kid, easily. Pure Tonka by Thierry Mugler. To me, this is a remake of the original Amen, just made a little bit more modern. It's as if the brand approached this fragrance as, let's remake Amen like it never came out before and was being released now. Some people in the fragrance community are bored with all the versions of the Pure line. But to me, Pure Tonka is an homage to the original way Mugler used to make fragrances for men. It's sweet, it's dark, it's bold, it's gourmand leaning, and it's very, very masculine, and it performs like a beast.
That's what she said.
That's my joke, damn it.
I mean, I'm really into Pure Tonka. It's not as complex, unique, or interesting, and it's not as dynamic as the original Amen, and it's certainly not as groundbreaking, but it's a return to the Amen roots with a modern twist. The 3 words I would use to describe this fragrance: a modern Amen. From the house of Viktor and Rolf, you guys already know Spicebomb Extreme. This is my favorite Spicebomb without question. This fragrance was the subject of one of the first videos on YouTube I ever did, and even though it slipped down a few notches, I still love this fragrance, and I loved it then and I still love it now. This Spicebomb has an overload of the spice vanilla. Yeah, a lot of people consider vanilla more gourmand than spice, but vanilla is technically a spice. It's sweet, it's masculine, and it's a lot thicker than the original Spicebomb, which has much more of an area vibe. But this version of Spicebomb, it feels a lot warmer, and it lasts a lot longer than the original as well. Almost an entire day can go by without this fragrance, like losing it. And I really like that, and I get a lot of compliments from it also. I would describe this fragrance as vanilla for men. Or a richer Spicebomb. Either way. Here we go, guys, the top 3. I hope you appreciated this list so far. Man, for me, winter lists are always really tough. But anyway, getting back to it, from the house of Guerlain, Rouge dress code. Dress code reinvents the original legendary Rouge, a fragrance which in modern times has become obsolete. Rouge had its day, and it's, in my opinion, a very difficult fragrance to wear if you didn't wear it when it was at its height. Rouge dress code takes that stuffy, almost urinal cake smell of the original Rouge and turns it into a classy but potent gourmand with one of the best dry downs I've smelled in a designer men's fragrance. It smells very niche because there are very few fragrances that smell anything like this, and you won't find anything in Sephora that remotely comes close to its depth, character, blend, or uniqueness, in my opinion. Gourmands have the reputation for being the exact opposite of what one would consider classy or upscale, and Rouge dress code totally flips that idea. It's a gourmand that actually fits a tuxedo, but I personally love to dress this fragrance down. Yeah, it's all about vanilla, rose, and praline, and it's kind of got this sweet but incredibly refined smell. It smells really exclusive, guys. I would describe this fragrance as high-end gourmand. From the house of Rasasi again, La Yuqawam. I love this fragrance. This scent was my #1 last year, and it could have easily been #1 again. It's a beautiful berry-infused leather fragrance that will remind many of Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. The quality of like Yuqawam in comparison to Tom Ford's scent is so close that it will blow your mind that you can own this fragrance for under $100. Once I smelled this fragrance, I was shocked by how much I paid for it. It just smelled a lot more expensive than it is. And it could be possibly the only leather fragrance that you'll need if you want to keep a small collection, you know. People say that this is a more wearable alternative to Tuscan leather, and I would have to agree. But simply put, it's a head turner of a scent that demands attention. It's rich, it smells amazing, and it lasts forever. I would describe this fragrance as, again, Tuscan leather killer.
Final. And
the number one scent on my list, man, these Middle Eastern style fragrances have got it on lock this year. From the House of Arabian Oud, Kalemat Black. Arabian Oud, like Rasasi, is technically a niche brand, so adding brands like this and number two could be a little unfair to some people, but when you think about it, Comme des Garçons, Hermes, Chanel, and Dior make designer fragrances that are more expensive than both my number one and my number two scent. So adding those two fragrances to this list makes perfect sense to me because they deserve to be on this list that high, in my opinion, and they also deserve the love. But yeah, back to Kalemat Black. With Kalemat Black, Arabian Oud created an oud scent for Western taste, and they knocked it out of the park. Like, out of the park. It's as if they wanted to show Western brands who constantly do oud fragrances how it's done. Honestly, dudes, if Kalemat Black was made by a reputable Western house, it would have never been released for under $200. Honestly, it's that good. It's so wearable. You won't smell like a petting zoo by any means. And no offense to those oud fans out there who prefer their ouds to be a little bit on that skanky side. I'm just saying, some ouds are just a lot more wearable to wear than others. Kalemat Black is a stunner. And it's one of the best oud vanilla combo fragrances available today, period. And that's from any house. And I totally stand behind that statement. Kalemat Black in 3 words: lovable, wearable oud. There you have it, my dudes. My top 10 winter list for men. I hope you really found it useful. You know, I feel like there's a little something for everyone, but definitely my main focus was quality fragrances. I feel like they're all quality fragrances that will kick any winter's ass and enhance your image in the process. So what fragrances are you wearing this winter? Let me know, guys. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I always appreciate a new member of the Frag family. And like this video if you think it deserved it. I'm E, and this is Simply Put Scents. And I'm Simply OUT. Peace.